need mics, or are we good?
No, we should be good.
We're gonna have him intro.
No, we don't need it. Why we scrapped
What's his back, baby?
intro? What the hell are you doing? We scrapped the intro. Toby.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's been how many years since we've seen you?
Been last year. Well, you've been a couple years. He saw me last year.
When you gave him the jersey?
No.
Can we get this man a proper introduction?
Okay, proper introduction. For those of you who don't know, Steinbrenner alumni, Presbyterian College football player, CFL lifer, Tobi Antigha, our boy. He's back in as a very special edition with a very special guest. I think he's here for Christmas to see your folks.
Yeah.
Did you bring the wife and the baby?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Can you give us your full name?
Olua Tobi Ao Antigha.
Woo, so good.
Luba,
Tobi.
Bobby.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yes, you did.
I always called you just Toby. I thought that was your real name.
No. That's my real name. It's just not cool.
Tell me, so you brought wife and kid
Yep.
here. Tell us, how old is the baby?
Baby just turned 2 on December 6th. So Ava is running around. She's getting in everything. She's a big ball energy.
Yeah. Listen, it's amazing because you are the first one that's come back that has been from that first
Yeah.
senior class.
Yeah.
And that was 2011.
Yeah.
So Toby was our captain along with
Alex.
Alex Bombino, who's still here in town somewhere. Maybe we'll get him on the show. But Toby was was our first to go on to play college. And then he ended up playing professional football up in Canada for how many seasons?
7.
Okay. And do you still live up there?
No.
Are you in South Carolina now?
Yeah. Greenville, South Carolina.
Because that's where your wife is from.
That area, yeah. So we met in college, and then from there, we just thought it was best just to settle down in South Carolina.
That was a confusing question.
What?
Because you're like, that's where your wife's from. He's like, yeah.
She's from she's from that area, yes.
But remember Presbyterian College?
She was in South Carolina.
Yeah, he met her at school.
Yeah.
And you have, your baby was born while your team was playing for the Grey Cup.
Yep. So I skipped the Grey Cup, came home,
That's
saw
awesome.
my daughter born, and then
That's awesome.
we still got a ring.
Yeah? You should have worn that
I
tonight.
should have brought it today. Look, he brought the
Oh,
jersey up there. See, that he brought for Coach Buskis.
No,
That was your no, he didn't.
I did. That was years ago.
Okay, well that was when you played in Saskatchewan.
So
Right? Tell me because I was born and raised in Canada.
Rough Riders.
what part?
I was born in Calgary. Oh no, I was born in Toronto.
I was born somewhere.
It's early, and I haven't had my coffee. Where's your coffee, by the way, fat boy?
Right back there.
There it is, the Dunkin'.
I'm so rude. You see how I have to deal with this?
Anyways, born in Toronto, raised in Calgary.
Calgary.
Yeah, but you were like in the middle where there was nothing in
Yeah,
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. Yeah. There was nothing but a casino out there, and I spent a lot of time at the other bank. We used to call it the bank. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time at the bank.
What's your game of choice?
Blackjack.
Woo!
Do you still play now?
No.
I wouldn't either, especially with kids. Your money's already leaving you,
Yeah.
not by choice nowadays, so.
Austin wanted to get good at blackjack, but then he realized he couldn't count. So got cut.
That's true. But, so this is, a lot of people, when they see Toby, especially those of our Canadian viewers who there's none, there's only 16 subscribers. But what they'll see or recognize Toby is this. Oh, green screen. Yo, he disappeared. He's got the there you go. I'm in. Toby, where the hell did you go? The invisibility code. That's Toby. Okay. So they'll remember that. Or boom, they'll remember this Toby.
Yep.
Right? Toby, you disappeared. You don't even win.
No, he's in the game. He's in the game.
He's in the game right there. Making a tackle. Tickle, tickle, tickle. But this is what Toby looked like in college. This is, in fact, his breakout game when he played against Ole Miss, an SEC team. As I recall, he had 3 catches that day.
60-some yards.
Yeah, it was on national television. It was the first time we had ever seen a Steinbrenner alum on college football, big stage like that. So we were all going nuts. It was when we all had flip phones, so we were like T9 texting each other. That was a very, very proud moment for all of us. But what a lot of people don't and haven't seen and don't know about Toby is this Toby. Oh, I'm a school bus guys. This Toby. Hey, that's the chic Toby, right? Oh, look at you, Greg.
Hey, how you doing?
The chic Toby. And what people don't know is this Toby as well.
Yeah.
Hey, that Toby.
Used to come out and warm up with my headphones in.
Do you remember when we first started practicing? We didn't even practice at the high school. We actually had to practice at the middle school when Toby first got there. Toby was not even, he was one of the first of the senior class, but he didn't come and start at Steinbrenner. What high school did you start at?
I was at Middleton High School for freshman and sophomore year.
So he got transferred in to Steinbrenner as an implant, but was one of the first first of the graduating class. And first graduating class. But I remember also that year we had to borrow equipment from Sickles because we didn't have enough football equipment like knee pads and a couple of helmets. So at the time we had like these navy blue helmets, but then we ended up with a couple of white helmets as well, a couple of black helmets. It's pretty awesome. Now listen, now we got a huge jumbotron.
Great iron game.
And now we got the turf fields. It's kind of a fancy look nowadays, but a throwback for you, Toby. I was just flipping through some of the YouTubes that have been out there. Remember this one?
Yep.
Check this picture out. You remember who shot this? This 2010. This is a guy named he's from Pinellas County, Jeff Pugh or something like that. And he was like totally excited to ask us how we were doing. But look at that baby face he's got, right? It's crazy. That was look at the year 2010. That's insane.
Toby Antigha, wide receiver.
And ended up, what was the last position you played?
Every position.
I literally played every position I played.
What do you like better?
I like linebacker for the most part. Like that's the where I feel my skills are best utilized.
Okay, so what about your favorite memory playing in Canada?
My favorite memory would just have to be that entire 2018 season with the team that we had, especially the defense. I have, lifelong friends from that team. And the way that we were able just to bond, and because in professional sports, people think that, all the guys are friends, like, and they're close.
They're not.
No, like a lot of guys, once they step on the practice field, or once they step off, they go their own separate ways. We were fortunate to have a very, very close unit, guys that spent a lot of time with each other outside of just, being on the practice field. What we would do is we'd shoot pool together after practice. We'd go over to each other's houses and I'd be the one cooking. We just have a good time. And I remember it was 2018. That was kind of like my breakout year in the CFL, but it was also like, one of the best defenses on record in the CFL because we scored, I think 12 or 13 defensive touchdowns. The record was just one more. And we actually would have got it if one of my teammates, like he got an interception, ran down to the 1 yard line and it got knocked out of bounds. But if he would have scored, we would have broken the record. That's true.
But listen, that's great because team cohesion, team culture is now, as we've been coaching for this long, it's starting to become a big part of teams, of organizations even, right? And I think you can see those teams that have a lot of thick culture where guys are completely bought in. Good things always happen, right? Where for all the same reasons, for whatever reason that you gel, in your particular case in Canada, you just said there was nothing there.
Yeah.
So aside from the casino, so you guys really had nothing to do but hang out.
Yep.
But I think it's a very, very important thing in today's age with the kind of people, the kind of kids, the kind of society we're living in now, that the culture of football, although the trend of tackle football is up and down, the culture will always keep it alive. And I think that's a very a great example as to when guys from different walks of life, different socioeconomic classes, different parts of the country come together and say, look, we're all doing one job. We're all, in there for one goal, and then, great things happen. Like, you should write a great company.
I slipped my mind.
You should have given it to Greg like you gave it now.
I'm not just giving anybody. Rest assured.
So you said you said you cooked a lot for your teammates.
Yeah.
What do you like? Well,
He's
so
a chicken guy.
what do you like?
You'd show up to coaching and you'd have these little
Oh,
chicken
yeah,
meals
yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah, it's chicken is his favorite.
You went the wrong way that one.
Yo, what in the
When he
heck?
worked, when he was our
Yes,
receiver
sir.
coach, he would always have these little chicken and beef
Oh.
meals.
That's right.
And I'd be like, yo, let me try that.
Toby
Delicious.
also was in the trend of guys that we talked about a couple of episodes ago that actually came back and coached with us. I think he was in between jobs in Canada.
No.
No, he was prepping for tryouts
Yep.
in the NFL at the time.
Yep.
And you and I would roast him
Every
single day.
Yep.
We motivated this guy, or we made him very upset. It was awesome.
Tell everybody why we roasted you. Tell everybody what we were roasting.
I don't even. You guys.
You know.
I really don't
We know.
remember. You guys have been roasting it since
In a positive way.
In a positive way.
since I couldn't go a day without hearing one of them say something. So it's like it just became white noise. It just becomes white noise. You just hear
Whoa,
it, you
why's
just-
it gotta be white? Bro, why are we doing this?
And then
Kick in.
he
What?
still comes back and hangs out with us. It's so good.
Yes, Toby, what did you run your 40?
Oh yeah.
That was the beginning.
Yeah.
Got him.
Pro day ran a 4.83.
Speed.
Wow.
In fairness, he was wearing a weighted vest.
No,
No, just that was.
In fairness, you were 310.
no.
No, you,
But he's ended up having an amazing career.
amazing career. We're super proud of him. Tell me what you're doing nowadays.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, a little break.
Yeah.
You
little
just
break.
retired. When did you retire?
I haven't officially retired yet. I've just made the decision that I'm not gonna play ball.
Do you want to officially retire right now?
Sure. okay.
Oh no! Someone see you, bro.
You're gonna cancel us. Don't cancel us. We need 17
Oh
years.
man.
So
Yeah, so you're taking a break.
Yeah. So the
Just being are you
Being
one of
a
those
dad.
hashtag
stay at
girl
home.
dads?
Yeah. Stay at home girl dad.
Nice.
that's awesome.
As of right now, I'm not doing anything, but eventually I want to, jumpstart a career in either coaching or media. And then kind of do that, kind of go in that trend.
Well, you're already kind of doing that with Canadian media, aren't you? You're doing like I every so often it pops up where you're doing like some analyzing and you're doing some telecasting, right?
So like there's a social media platform on Instagram called Showtime Digital. It's an athlete run Instagram page that basically creates a whole bunch of content centered around Canadian football, whether that be at the youth level, the collegiate level, and obviously the pro level with the CFL. So basically what I do is I write articles that are CFL based, kind of analyzing different topics that I find interesting, and it gives it from a player's perspective. So it's not necessarily similar to the pundits' perspective that you would get from regular reporters and stuff like that. You're getting a much more detailed, in-depth perspective because you're getting it from somebody who's actually played the sport, who's been in the buildings, who understands the game more so than maybe a regular journalist would.
So it's like Hard Knocks Canada style. Right?
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Do they do a Hard Knocks in Canada?
No, I wish they would.
On CTV?
No. You still know?
My cousins still live there. So we go up to Toronto every so often. And I watch Canadian football and it's it was confusing back then and it's still confusing now. I love the end zones. Dude, the 20-yard end
Hated
zones
them.
are amazing.
Hated them.
Impossible to defend.
Exactly.
Absolutely impossible to defend. And I also don't understand the 55-yard one.
It's still like, it's funny because now that I look back on my career, I still never knew how to count. Like
Yeah,
I still
because
don't know.
usually the 50-yard line is right in the middle. But in Canadian football, there's a 50-yard line on both sides. So there's a middle and then it goes 50 and out. So it's like the 55-yard line, but it's like the zero marker. So like it's true north.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an odd, and the end zones are 20 yards deep, which is amazing because but also there's only 3 downs.
3 downs.
3 downs, not 4. So that's the biggest differences in Canadian football. So there's a lot less emphasis on like a power running game. There's a lot more on, especially when you're watching it now, there's a lot of motions and guys moving ball quick, quick pass stuff. Guys, obviously, the guys that are speedsters, they still like to chuck the ball deep, especially with the 20-yard end zone.
Yep.
So, my favorite memory of Tobi while he was with us, it still is one of my all-time favorites, is the Milton game.
Yeah.
That was at homecoming.
What a catch.
In his senior year.
Against my former team.
Against his former team. We were down by,
Was it 5 or 6?
5 or just enough.
We had to score.
We had to score.
Yeah.
And in that offense, which was a wing T offense, you run like 90% of the time and then you throw once. And the play that we like to throw was Tampa. We called it
down
pass. Sorry, down pass. And there's only one receiver that could run it, so you always knew if that guy went deep, which you had to go deep every single time.
So the interesting thing is that year, so in 2010, we had the wing T offense that we would just run 929
down waggle and all
Yes.
down waggle from Coach Graham, and that was literally our offense. And then and then that following year, we put in this the spread package when Perez kind of wanted that spread package in. So I remember that was my only catch of the game for that whole entire game.
I only throw of the whole game.
It might have been, yeah.
To be honest.
Block City, block City.
For that whole game, I was basically not doing anything but blocking. And I remember we somehow maintained, being within striking distance in that game. I think Trey ended up recovering a fumble, punt, block punt, returned it for a touchdown. Tyler, was it one of the McLeans, ended up returning a kick for a touchdown.
Jordan was one of our returners.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the icing on the cake was getting the opportunity to go up and make a play and then run it 80 yards for the.
Awesome. You know what was the most nerve-wracking part about it is, remember, well, now we're on turf, but back then we were on grass.
Mm-hmm.
And it had been, the grass was put down very, very quickly before the field could actually be crowned.
In the middle of a
Which is-
swamp.
which is like a little bit of a peak in the middle, so it allows the water to drain. That far, the southeast corner, where there's a big drain there, it just never drained. So for the whole season, that was one soaking wet.
You would step and there would be waves.
Yeah.
Like literal waves.
You'd be ankle deep in water the whole season. And that was the scariest part of your run, was as you were going down that sideline, our sideline, going down into that southeast corner, you could see in perfect night conditions, you can see the water starting to splash up as you're running down there, and the guy was chasing you. So yeah, that's right.
Oh,
It was Rich Boy, and I thought he was gonna catch him.
I thought he did too.
But when the water started splashing up, that was a bit terrifying, because I also know how slow you were at the time.
he was fast.
So-
Don't let him fool you.
I wasn't fast.
But that was my favorite, and I think it still goes down as one of my all-time favorites from Steinbrenner, because we were such a bad team.
Yeah. But that year we found a way to win. We went 5-5 that year. We ended up playing East Bay at the it was like a glorified bowl game. And I remember even in that game we were out of that game. And then they shanked a punt, and then they gave us an opportunity, and then I was like John Mark's breakout game.
Yeah.
John Mark went for like $150. I think I went for like $130 with 2 TDs. It should have been 3. But I ended up catching the game-winning ball from Fitch. He threw up a 10-yard fade, and I went up over the DB and made that play.
That game, one of my another all-time favorite play was, remember, we scored, and that was to tie the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went for 2 we were down by 1. We had to go for 2 for the win. And Logan McKnight, in that game and that whole season, remember, he was playing center, starting at center and starting at middle linebacker.
He
would switch jerseys in between series. Remember that?
I didn't know that, actually, now that you.
And then they throw this tight end pop. Remember, it was like a tight end pop. Everyone was like, okay, they're going to throw to Tobi or John Mark. So everyone followed you guys, double team, and then Logan was by himself. He threw that tight end pop to him. He scored. Remember, he actually slammed the football down, spiked it, got a 15-yard penalty. And the first time I'd ever seen Coach Graham not mad for getting an unnecessary penalty.
It's when we became the bad boys of Loops.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? No, that's a Luke's Goons thing.
Goons.
Were you part of Luke's Goons? They don't want to disrespect the name, the fan, the La Raza. So, let's go back to what's your thought? Speaking of La Raza, gangsters. What about Draymond? What about Draymond Green?
Oh my goodness,
that's a gangster. What do you think? Coming back, or is he done in the league?
I don't think he's done. If
it's indefinitely.
So here's the thing: the league is not the most consistent at dealing penalties, right? Yeah. So you got Ja Morant, who I am a huge fan of. Questionable off the court tactics lately, but the man flashes a firearm on video, which
twice.
But it's not illegal to have a firearm, but it's not a good look. I get that. But suspended for 22 games. Yeah. Huge, right? He's back this week. What up, job, baby? Draymond Green's literally punching dudes in the face and hurting individuals. How long is he going to be suspended?
He's choking dudes out, too.
10 games.
He slapped a dude. He kicked a guy in the nuts. Dude, did you say 10 games? He's indefinitely right now.
I know.
Yeah. He's already gotten 5.
I don't think anyone really knows what that word means. They're just like, oh man, he's suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
That could be 1 game. Yeah. It could be a season.
But you know the crazy part about it is the president of Joe Dumars is the Players Association, who's handing down the penalties. Like, you remember Joe Dumars was part of the Bad Boys Pistons in the 80s. So listen, my dude should be like, I understand.
Can I tell you what drives me nuts about the NBA right now? I love the NBA, like fan forever. The NBA, you have fans who are like, LeBron James is soft. He would have never made it in Jordan's league, right? Hold on. Fast forward. You got Draymond Green out here playing ball from Jordan's age, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, he should be suspended for life.
Disgrace.
Like, you want LeBron to play in a tougher league, but when the toughness is there, you're like, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? This guy's out here taking lives.
Yeah, this is
he slapped somebody.
Oh yeah. And listen, I love how he comes at the media. He's like, yeah, I didn't know I was gonna slap him and just turn around, my arm just swang. I love it. Same as when he choked that Rudy. He didn't even apologize. I was like, we need more of that, because the dude is like, he's coming to bat for his teammates, but he's also exactly who he is.
If I'm playing Draymond Green in an NBA game, I'm wearing football equipment.
Yeah, dude, I'm wearing a cup, at least a cup.
Yes,
listen, I don't
need. The
man
man is wild. He's unhinged, but I love him. He's good for the game.
Well, and I saw a thing on TV where Meta World Peace was chiming in on it. And I was like, yeah, why would you put this guy on? Because of course he's like, yeah, I'm on Draymond's side. But I also think, ironically, Joe Dumars should be on his side also. Because,
That's the basketball he played.
yeah, that's the basketball that whole era played.
But Joe Dumars, older, wiser. Does he like the game how it is now, or maybe he doesn't love how they played basketball? You know?
Oh no, they looked like they loved it. That was rough.
I think basketball is evolved into something that is unrecognizable to any era. Obviously, with Steph Curry being able to shoot with all the skill that you see out of big men, you look at Victor Wembanyama.
Insane.
Yes, insane skill set for somebody that's 7'4".
He had a game.
He's like
an
8 foot. He's got an 8 foot
He
wingspan.
played the Lakers the other night, and I think he went 20-20.
It's crazy the thing that he's able to do with Kevin Durant. So, Kevin Durant being 7'1" and being a glorified guard. So it's like you see like the evolution of guys getting bigger, but also guys getting more skilled. And you're at a time in the NBA history where this is unprecedented. Like every class of athlete that gets drafted, it's like even more height, even more athleticism, even more skill. So what that requires is a completely different scheme and game plan. And it's
It's wild though. If you watch the NBA, you watch?
no.
So
No.
Luka Doncic. He is a chubby, like little dude that just had 3 bags of chips, who just got off his couch, and he's just destroying everybody. Like he dribbles and it looks like it's in slow motion, and nobody can stop him. It's the weirdest thing.
He's like Larry Bird back in the 80s. You look at Bird,
50 pounds heavier.
yeah, but you look at him and you would count him out immediately because he doesn't have the classic athlete body. But the skill set behind that guy, he can shoot, he can pass, he's got vision. Same as with Bird. You realize, just as a trivial fact, Larry Bird, who played at Indiana State, played basketball there. He also played baseball. And there was a game he dropped a double. Was it called double?
In baseball?
No, in basketball.
Oh.
No, he dropped a double, triple double, and he also played baseball and hit 2 for 3 or 3 for 4 or something like that.
And they got a double
in the same day. Played college baseball and college basketball on the same day. So, imagine he's what, 6'6".
A lot.
6'6". Like that's a lot. That's a tall baseball guy. So imagine now that him going from the basketball court, which is a difficult sport. I think it's the most plyometric sport. It's the most taxing physically sport.
You think so?
Well, minus the collisions, but yes, jumping up and down.
Yeah,
100%. Because the court is so small, you can't. There's no jogging in basketball. You have to.
And outside of soccer, they're sprinting for 2 to 3 miles a night.
Yeah,
it's a lot of.
Well, but likewise too, just jumping and landing, the force of landing on the ground is like double that of running against the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, and imagine these guys are jumping at the height that they're jumping at. So, that basketball, like I said, the most plyometric sport. Then to go into a baseball game, which is like the least plyometric sport.
Eat hot dogs between innings.
That's what I'm saying.
Babe Ruth.
I like baseball. It's boring.
Hate it.
Because only 3 people play at one time. The guy who's throwing the ball, the guy who's catching the ball, and the guy who's trying to swing the bat. Like, that is it.
And then occasionally, like 30% of the time, that guy has success and he's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the only sport that you can be a failure and be a success.
And he'll hit the ball. He's like, you know what? One of you guys can play now. Go get it. It's the worst game of fence ever.
Speaking though of baseball, how about Ohtani and his mega contract?
First off,
let's
talk about
what are you doing?
His want to win and his willingness to defer. Do you see this?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's $700 million. He's taking $2 million a year
for the next 10.
And then after he retires, he's getting $68 million a year. And then
what?
Yes.
68.
So they deferred $68 million a year to after he retires.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
And immediately they went and traded for the Rays ace, Tyler Glasnow, which I'm devastated about. And the Rays are like, you know what? you guys haven't had enough money, so we're gonna give you money with Glasnost so you guys can go get someone else. So like, what are we doing? I want to switch gears real quick, take you back
Oh, switching gears.
to high school.
Ooh, okay.
I want to know, first off, what is your best memory? We talk about best memory from the CFL. What's your best memory from high school football? And I'm curious, what level of football? Because you got all these players that watching this. They're playing high school now. They can't wait to get to college and play. But that's a whole nother level because all that
Tell
stuff.
them the truth. We've already been
Yeah,
truthful. You tell them your story.
What is your favorite memory from high school, and what level did you enjoy playing at the most?
My favorite memory from high school is just the pureness of the sport was there. Like when you're in high school football, you're playing for the love of the game. There's no politics in it. There's nothing that stands in your way of just enjoying having a good time playing high school football. My other memories is just being able to be around people who genuinely care. I will always talk fondly about you two because you guys were integral in my development. You know, I came from Middleton High School, and you know that's a different experience. It's a different experience, you know, going from Middleton to coming to Steinbrenner. So I remember my first year, you know, I was really kind of in a shell. Really didn't like my situation, the environment I was in. You know, dealing with some of the stuff that I had to deal with from the student body. But you know, it was like I went from a school that everybody looked like me to coming to a school where I could literally count on one hand the amount of people who look like me. It was me, Trey Johnson.
Everyone that played football. Or basketball.
It was easy to spot us out. But you know, that came with its own challenges. But I remember, you may not remember this, but I was such an emotional kid that I just wanted to be successful so badly. And I remember before every game, I would always be so emotional, be so like fiery, amped up, and to the point of tears. And Austin would always come find me before every game, calm me down, and you know, just tell me to go out there and have fun. Right, Pusky was always someone. Pusky now is the same Pusky back then, which is wild. Just big ball of energy. I remember like you know, before not every practice, but he would always try to race. This was when Pusky was smaller.
Yeah, so much smaller.
A lot smaller.
A little small.
But I remember just like the first time I would meet these guys, I was like, who are they? Like, who is this Asian? Who's always talking so aggressively.
Pacific Islander.
Pacific Islander now.
They switched.
There's a 2020.
They switched.
Let's clarify this.
Yes, let's get it right. And then Pusky was always this big ball of energy, just running around the practice field, just saying whatever, doing whatever. It was just
Keeping it light, man.
keeping it light,
Light
right?
and tight. Light and tight.
You know, so you know those examples that I had were very, very instrumental in allowing me to, you know, just relax. You know, come out of my shell. You know, I appreciate that whole staff. You know, you guys, Bosco, Coach Perez. Even though you know we had we would go at it, some differences. And Coach Graham was.
Something else.
Yes, he was something else. So
old school. That's old school.
Very old.
A couple of episodes ago, we showed this video, which I don't know if you've seen, the Jesuit coach who smacked it. One of the, I think it was an assistant coach. One of his D lineman was running off the field because it obviously wasn't supposed to be there in that package. He came off the field and the coach smacked him in the head. I don't know if you saw that one, but listen, we talked about it, you know, a couple episodes ago, where that evolution of the game there were some things that you look at and you go, gosh, I wish guys would be tougher.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and you go at some of those things and you go, gosh, this really doesn't have a place anymore in football. Like if we would have watched that film 10 years ago, 13 years ago, when you're still in high school, that's like, okay, that's normal. Now it's like, what happened to him was he got relieved of his position, and rightfully so. He probably had to apologize and so on and so forth. But I think with social media, you can't get away with that kind of stuff anymore
Yeah.
also. You know, like the slick.
That's a little bit like the NFL today, though, because you see a quarterback stand in the pocket, take a head-to-head shot, and
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh my god, what a dirty play!"
Yeah.
But at the same time, that D lineman dives at the quarterback's knees,
Yeah.
and now he's got 2 torn ACLs, and everyone's like, "At least his head's okay."
I will tell you, as a professional athlete, we will take a concussion every day of the week before you mess with our knees. If we'd rather take a concussion than take an ACL.
Listen, speaking of the NFL and refereeing, because it's been kind of atrocious this year. But while we're on that vein, let me ask you, Kadarius Toney.
Mhm.
I know, no, I'm not. Listen, I'm not. Listen,
It's his fault.
I'm not questioning that he was not lined up offside.
Yes.
But what Patrick Mahomes says, that 1 foot over the line, does that really make a difference in the whole scheme of that play?
Rule.
But the issue I have with it
Ask Patrick Mahomes that real quick. Ask Patrick Mahomes that if you let Sue or one of those guys line up 1 step over the line and have a foot
Okay,
advantage.
listen, that's a better point. One step closer to him, because when I heard him say that, I'm like, well, that's kind of true. Like 1 step in front of it is it. If you watch that play unfold, really is inconsequential to it. But for all the same reasons, it's the principle of the thing that, you know, like the law is the law, and I think that's why they're holding it.
But the issue is there's no consistency in the way that's officiated. Like I just watched the Miami Dolphin game. I forgot who they were playing, and Jalen Waddle was lined up in the same area, but no call was made.
Yeah.
So it's like from game to game and week to week, the same penalty doesn't get called the same way. So it's like from a viewer's perspective, it's kind of confusing. It's like how are we supposed to know what's supposed to happen if they're being officiated differently?
Well, let me ask you, if they didn't have that little blue line and then the first down marker there, because everything I've seen about Kadarius Toney being outside, even Dan Orlovsky is like, hey, there's this line. Look, he's over it 4 or 5 multiple times. But there was a day and age when that little blue line wasn't there.
Well, that's just
And
there
got-
for us on TV.
Well, but if that little blue line isn't there for the telecasters and the pundits, how do you really?
Referees still gotta do their job.
Yeah,
It
but
has
you
to be
still-
egregious
There
in
you-
order for the fan
there
to
you
see
go.
it from the TV.
There you go.
And
So
that wasn't egregious enough, in my opinion, because when he lined up, I was like, all right, he's on ball.
and he did it multiple times, and the referees still didn't correct it. Which I also understand that.
Kadarius
Yeah,
Toney has been losing games for his team week after week. Bottom line, he found a new way to lose.
Listen,
Come on.
the whole wide receiver room is brutal. I think they have the most drops in the NFL as a wide receiver group, in all 32 teams.
So, who do you go out and get next year?
They're not the type of team to do
No, they won't. You should have never let go of Tyreek.
Beach is the type to try to build through the draft, and that's ultimately what they've been trying to do. As long as they have Patrick Mahomes,
I like Rice.
I do like Rasheed Rice.
I like
I think
Rice
he
too.
needs to
Oh,
go
no,
down.
no. Yeah, I like Rice.
Favorite level of football that you played in?
Oh yeah, let's get back to the question at hand.
Oh, we jump around.
I know.
Jump around.
Frogger.
Favorite level of football? What I would say is, I don't.
Jump up, baby. Jump up.
It's high school and college. Pros it's not.
It's a business.
It's a business. It's strictly a
But
business.
college is a business also.
Yes, but depending on where you go in college, it becomes less of a business. I went to the FCS level, so it's not as big a business as going to an Alabama or an LSU or all these major Power 5 institutions. So I would say college was probably my most enjoyable because the competition I played, like you would get challenged, right? In high school, I could be the biggest guy out there, or I was the biggest receiver out there. It didn't nobody could really tackle me. Like it wasn't competition in the same way that it was in college. Like in college, I played NFL corners. I played Josh Norman my freshman year. So there is a lot of great players that I played against that would allow me to test my skill against them, and then go back to the drawing board if things didn't work out, and I didn't have success. It's like a chess game. All right, this didn't work. All right, maybe doing this will work. And then, you go from there and then you try to develop your skills. And
give us your insight though on college football for our high school kids that watch. And like Coach Greg is saying, the allure and the glitz and the glamour of college football.
College football is not for the weak and uncommitted.
Ooh, college football is not for the weak or uncommitted.
I remember when Dean, Aiden, when that class of athletes at Steinbrenner was going to college, I said, this is gonna be the toughest 4 years of your life.
Yeah.
Because everything is so structured, everything is so hard in terms of workouts, in terms of your just getting through your schedule, and getting used to it. Like everything is just so difficult. Like it's unnecessary as well. Like I remember in college running 20-something, 110. Just cause. That's it. I was like, for what reason? I'm never gonna run this much in a game.
Yeah.
We won yesterday. Yeah, but there were 17 penalties.
Listen, every Sunday morning after
Yeah.
football games, we would run the stadium at the Swamp, whether we were at home game or an away game.
Yep.
Every single morning at 5 a.m. But unnecessarily, right? But I think just like the education in high school and the education in college, let's just transfer it a little bit. In high school, especially now, you're trying to help the kids get through the course so that they can continue to pass, right? But in college, like say you're a chemistry teacher, say you're a science teacher.
Marine, so. Go ahead.
So the 30 or 40 kids you have, you're trying to help them all pass to get through your course.
Yes.
Take marine biology in college, in a stadium seating with 200, 500, 600 people in there, with a professor that comes from overseas.
Sharks and minnows.
Sharks and minnows.
That's what it is.
Doesn't care for nothing. That's it. Not for the weak or uncommitted.
Yeah.
Write it down, because I think the hardest part for high school kids to understand is when you go to that level, and the three of us have been at that level, there are people there that are trying to play football like you are. There are people there that are trying to get into a better lifestyle. And there are others that are trying to escape the lifestyle that they came from. And you sometimes forget when you're there that it's like Willy Wonka's golden ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that you hold the golden ticket and that you don't have to eat the bubble gum or drink the fizzy drink, right? Because you think that you're entitled to all that stuff.
I need all of it.
Everything. I'd lick the wallpaper.
Willy Wonka in theaters yesterday.
But
Sponsorship.
sponsor us. Like and follow. But right, the answer to it is college football is a business, and college football, whatever level you play, it's meant to weed out those guys who are just there to have fun. Guys who are there who are not going to make this university money, they don't want you there. And I think the statistic is, and it's still relatively the same, it's 40% of guys that go away to play college sports, men and women, they come home because of that reason, because it was too tough, either the load from school, the load from being a student athlete, or the social side of being away from home for the first time. 40% of student athletes.
I think what it comes down to is like, what are you going to college for? Like, of course you have your scholarship, but when you get your scholarship, what is your end goal? My end goal was always to become the best player that I could. And that kind of, stemmed from here as well. It's like, I've always been very, very competitive on a team, like in a team environment, and on like a personal battle to battle, receiver against cornerback environment. I've always been super competitive. And, sometimes your teammates aren't as competitive as you think that they should be.
Right.
And the challenge is motivating them to raise their level of play. And I remember, you guys probably don't remember this, but my junior year of high school, I was terrible. Like, I was a terrible leader, terrible in terms of like properly motivating guys, because my whole idea was it's either you get it done or you don't, right? You're either good or you're not. And if you weren't good, I'm not wasting my time with you.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember that.
But it wasn't until like it was actually Coach Bosco who actually like finally got through to me after one, period in practice. I guess I was messing up, and then he went off on me talking about it. You're not even that good. And when he said that, it kind of like grounded me. And then from that point on, I was really, really cognizant of the message that I portrayed to my teammates. And that's the culmination of that senior year where we all kind of gelled, because I remember, you guys, I mean, you're not going to remember this, but I remember we had
I don't remember a whole lot.
I've been in that a lot.
I remember everything, but there was Matt Borders. Matt Borders was our center.
Yeah.
Matty.
I think it was Chicken Whistle got hurt.
His father still is.
He's
announced
still
our game.
Really?
Yeah.
Dave and Dave.
Dave and Dave both
David,
out there.
get on the show. Like and subscribe.
They want to come out.
He does. But I think he's gonna destroy our audio.
It's gonna be loud.
It's gonna be loud.
But Matt Borders, I think Chicken Whistle got hurt, so Matt Borders was filling in, and I remember we were in practice, and he just couldn't get the snaps right. And I'm upset because you getting the snap right dictates whether I get the football or not, and what I can do with it, right? So I remember he snapped the ball over. It was either Fitch's or Christian's head. And Coach Graham blew it dead, and then I got in his face, and I was so angry, and like, come on, man! If you don't snap the ball, the quarterback can't throw it. The quarterback can't throw it. I can't catch it. Receiver, we can't do our jobs. Everybody's jobs depend on you getting the snap. Right. Next play, we call a screen. Snap is great. Throws it out to me. I drop it. And I was just like,
Dropsies.
man, this sucks.
Did he come back at you?
No. You didn't. But Perez talked to me afterwards. He was like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened. So you can't be so focused on everybody else. It's like your message was good, like your intention was good, but you still got to be able to execute your job, right? You can't be so focused on what everybody else is doing that you fail to do your job. Right?
That's the best thing about Coach Perez is he has the perfect way of throwing you back in your face, but it meaning something and you being like, damn, right?
and it's his super sarcastic.
Oh, it's so good.
Like never raises his voice to it, and it comes right out and it gives you that look. He's like
and you want to be mad, but you can't.
Yeah. No, but he's also great at fact checking. Just by the by.
Fact checker.
Mr. Fact Check Guy.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you for
watching.
keeping us real.
Yes, keeping it real, keeping it 100. Speaking of
Before
football, wait.
How much time do we have?
I don't know. No, we still have time.
Okay, yeah.
Wait. Speaking of college football, because we're on that vein of college football, we have 2 more alumni to shout out again.
Wow. Third straight national championship game.
And we already have one, Matthew Durrance, who's already got a ring with the Jackrabbits.
I showed you him last week, being like, move security, get out the way.
Push that poor old man. But he has another chance to push an old man in a national championship game this weekend against Montana Grizzlies, who just squeaked by North Dakota, right? In overtime. And they played Albany.
So
they absolutely
my favorite thing.
It wasn't even close. Anyways, shout out to Matty Durrance Juice and to Kirby. Good luck, guys. We're thinking about you. Bring us another ring home. Kirby, enjoy the experience. That's how championship teams are.
I went to college 10 minutes from UAlbany, up in Schenectady, New York, and all my buddies from my team all have ties to Albany. They all have buddies who played at Albany, so nonstop last week, like Albany all over my feed on Twitter, on Facebook. And my college roommate called me. His best man played at UAlbany, and he's like, "Are your boys ready for this?" I'm like, "Dude, Albany's gonna get smoked by at least 30." He's like, "You're out of your mind." He's like, "They're the real deal." And so once it hit like 49-0, I'm like, "Hey man, you want to the game?"
You're good.
He's like, "Shut up."
Yeah, no, I think we talked about it before. This team is probably the best Jack Rabbit's team,
They're insane.
they're better than last year's team. And I don't think, they're like I said a couple weeks ago, they will only be in their own way for a national championship.
Their team reminds me of our 2019 team, where all those guys, you watch them on the sideline, they're all playing for each other.
Yeah.
They're all celebrating each other. And I mean, the running back goes off, there's guys picking them up.
Yeah.
The guy gets on the sideline, like everyone's coming off the bench to cheer with them. And Lacey Durrance, Matt's sister, who plays for me for flag, she sent me video from the game of the whole team in the end zone, doing stuff with the band after the game. And she's like, look, it's just like his team in high school. And I was like, that's awesome.
Going back to, right, the earlier conversation, it's culture.
Mhm.
The culture of that team, the culture of any team is ultimately going to dictate how that team performs. Because performance really is an equation, right? It's your ability and your behavior, right? So at that level, everyone has the ability, but the behavior of each individual and the collective behavior of the group is going to determine the amount and the level of performance of the whole group.
How committed do you want to be?
That's it. And so when we talk to even guys, especially this season, it was saying, look, if you focus on the group's goals, if you focus on making guys around you better, what will happen is not only will the team succeed, but your individual goals you'll be able to reach because everyone around you is lifting you up instead of you all trying to grab at the same stuff. And so I think, like I said, that's going to be a no-brainer for me. I think they walk away with it. I mean, easy. We're going to see Juice with another trophy and another cigar in his mouth. And maybe Kirby will put a picture up there of himself for once, because as running back coaches, we would love to see that. And whether he gets a ton of time or he gets no time and he stands on the sideline the whole time,
Doesn't matter. You helped build that thing.
that's it. That's the whole answer is be proud of the job and the role that you're playing, Kirby, because it's an important one. Everyone's got a job, everyone's got a role. And at the end of the season, every role is going to be integral in what happens to the whole group. So we're proud of you guys. Good luck. We're also running out of time here because I have to go work out.
We have to end on my favorite Tobi thing ever.
Okay.
I don't know if he'll do it.
Do it.
You know what I'm doing? Oh,
Do it. Do it.
we gonna do it?
Sure.
You gotta get close though.
You gotta get super close.
I would want to say we appreciate you
Yes,
coming out.
Tobi.
We love you. We're very proud of you and your family.
Thank you so much. for your
Congratulations
time.
on a beautiful career.
It's for an awesome career and being an awesome human being. Because I myself personally have heard some of the other podcasts with the guys you played with, and they have got nothing but great things to say about you. And likewise from here, there's nothing but great things that we have to say about you, and we wish you the best. Thank you so much. Now do the job.
Which machine do you want?
You choose. You choose. You choose.
But I have to be super close.
Yeah, you gotta get close. Oh, here we go. The best.
Want to know these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend. And one night he goes off crazier than usual. Mommy gets a kitchen knife to defend herself. He doesn't like that. Not one bit. So, with me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. Turns to me, and he says, why so serious?
Yeah.
So good.
Attaboy. Great job. We are
Tobi.